I'm Cole Patterson with Cole Skincare for Men. Today, I am welcoming the presence of John Mosley. John is known in the area of film and television and also education, and he definitely spreads the word on what it looks like to take your brand and your business to the next level when it comes to barbering. So, without further ado, tell us a little bit about yourself, your platforms, what you up to. Just give us a little bit of information about you.
It's a pleasure. It's definitely a pleasure when I got the message that you wanted to sit down with me and just conversate a little bit. I was honored because you are a person that I looked up to. I look up to for the amount of work you do. It's a coincidence that you just happen to know my sister and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, but I just wanted to make sure I gave you your flowers before we got started. I've been doing this thing for a while. I'm 20 plus years as a barber. I focus more so once once I got my skill set to where I felt like I was good enough to educate people on what I knew and understood the why of what I knew. Everybody understands the how, but it's like, yo, do you understand the why? And so I figured all that out, and then I jumped into education and ran with it, and now I'm educating on all different platforms. I work with different companies and, producing my own stuff. I have a production studio that I can go in and create content out of. And I also have a podcast called Nobody Listens because my brand is called Popular Nobody. So it's just a little play on words, but more importantly, I just love giving out that free game and giving people an opportunity to grow, because I think sometimes when you take on a role as a mentor, as a leader, you wish you had somebody like yourself, giving out what you're giving out. And so I always look at it and say, I'm gonna be the mentor I wish I had.
I'm honored as well because I've always looked up to his skill set and his business ethic when it comes to being beyond a barber, being a businessman. I know a lot of times barbers, as I've seen and experienced, it's all about the cut and the service, just boom, boom, boom. The thing I admire about you is the expertise and skill set first versus exploiting his own skill set. He definitely lends it to help mentor people along with giving his celebrity clients the accolades that they need, and he'll take the back the back seat on what needs to be done. You don't see that in a lot of barbers, especially now with social media. Have the extensive knowledge, expertise, and education. It's some are naturally talented, but there's a long list of like really hands-on training that you have, and you only get when you are extending more intermediate education and talking to a skincare person, talking to this type of person, talking to a dermatologist or a hair transplant person. We definitely have a huge impact socially when it comes to the hair industry. But we also have to figure out ways to bring like minds like this platform right here to be able to lend that hand and lend that audience and lend that customer base to cross reference on every aspect and not be afraid of that it's taking something away from you.
I've always came into this journey and said, I'm never going to use somebody else's name to make mine look bigger. Just because I work with the celebrities, just because I did that, that's them. That's them. At the end of the day, just as well as I know, if a celebrity not hot, you not hot. So why build your name off of somebody that, can turn around and say that they don't want you no more. They don't need you no more. And so for me, it was never that. It was, I'm blessed with an opportunity to have my phone ring in the way that it rung, and it's still ringing today. I don't put my celebrity clientele out all over the internet because, one, I have to respect their personal space. I have to respect their views and opinions and their feelings on that. Even though they're a celebrity, they're still human. So I always put the human factor in front of, look how cool I am on the internet because I cut this person or I hang out with this person. It's never been that for me. It's always been like, yo, go get yourself popping. Go leverage these opportunities to go talk to the Calvin Klein execs and go talk to the Nike execs and put yourself in the, like, if I'm in that room, and I tell anybody, if somebody puts you in a room with millionaires and you have $100 conversation, that's your fault. Every situation I got into, I want to know who the executive producer is. I talk to the cameraman because I'm into filming, and I want to know everything. I want to know makeup because sometimes, I might have to step in and be that person. I might have to be the sub for the day. But if I have all of these skill sets, and accolades under my belt, I'm able to step in and my clients are comfortable with saying, nah, John got me, you know?
Yeah.
And so for me, that's what it was. It was never built my name off of another man or lady's reputation. It's built it off of what you are able to do. And that's what I did, you know. And then speaking on the Paul Mitchell thing, I wrote Paul Mitchell's barbering curriculum, you know, and that's something that I'm very proud of because it don't get spoke about often. But the people that know I did it.
When you step out on your own skill set and your own faith and start shaping around and investing in that time with self, that's where you see the most reward. Sometimes the short money, you might miss it. But guess what? This is building some type of longevity. And we come from a thing where we worked on film and television sets
Yeah.
where you couldn't speak about content. You couldn't speak. It's holding the creative aspect to a confidentiality, you know what I mean? But that's not spoke of because everybody wants the quick, oh, let me get this and trend. That ain't never, I'm not chasing the audience. I'm creating the niche. You know, why Black people can't be as solid as that and come together in the barbering community, in the skincare community to do something that big. What do you think that's about?
You know, Cole, I think honestly, it comes from as African Americans or Black Americans, we have been, you know, taught to just survive. Like when you even look in history, our history is nothing but survival stories. And so I think when one person get in position, they almost don't want to help the next person get in position of being afraid of that this person might, you know, move them out the way. But one thing I learned early on in my career working inside of Hollywood is that whoever was the person that gave you the opportunity, before you call anybody else, you always call them first and give them that opportunity back. And that rule has always stuck with me. It's like an unwritten rule that people don't even talk about or even know about. And so I kind of live by that still. Like, you know, I hope I go into every situation hoping whoever I help will one day call me and offer me something back. And it don't have to be monetary, it just could be the opportunity and let me get in that room, you know. And I think so I think that's where the challenges are lying in. And it's because everybody want to say too, you know, I did this on my own. I did this on my own. Nobody do shit on their own. Like nobody. It's not even possible to do anything on your own. And I think that's a poor person's mentality because you're trying to brag about something that you know there was a list of people that gave you game or put a little money in your pocket or pulled you to a table. And I think in order for us to survive and actually start doing more Black businesses together, we have to get over that hump and understand that sometimes the truth ain't hate, it's just the truth.
And it's an honorable and a respectable and an homage and some type of seniority aspect which you feel where they trust you enough that they put you in a position to win and now you're paying back to them. We do have a poor man's mentality when it comes to building legacy and community and what that and generational wealth in our community because we want to be the only ones. We did it ourselves. It's something about this individual thinking that we think that's supposed to be on some hierarchy stuff. The business is changing. So what are you going to do far as like building your own wealth? And that's where the wisdom comes in. When you were younger and your grandmother had these basic ass conversations, but there was something, the words that she used, the context that she used in and the visualization that she presented to you gave you some wisdom that now you can appreciate. Like, so where do you think the younger generation, because I see so much on Instagram.
So to answer about the younger generation, I think it has to be the origin has to go back into education. You know, the barbershop, the beauty salon, the nail salon, that was like the community cornerstone. That was like you excited to go there on Saturdays. You excited to be a part of that. And now we got this emergence of, oh, I want to be independent. I want to be independent. And when I talk to young barber students or young Cosmo students, I say, hey, listen, I get it. You want to start your business. You want to say you own your own thing. That's cool. But how are you going to learn still? You need to go get in the shop, go get in the salon, and go sit with somebody that's doing it. learn how to run a business, learn how to work the front desk, then learn how to fold them towels right. You have to learn all of that in order to be able to successfully run your own business. Because if you're not hands-on in it, then you can't understand how much somebody gonna charge you for something that you could do yourself, or you don't know how much time it takes to do something that you could do yourself. So, and it also got to start with just knowing, where you come from. Where you
Mhm.
come from. That's why people doing ancestry.com, 23andMe is because they don't know where they come from. And it's the same thing. If you don't know the history behind what you're working on and what you're doing, that's why timepiece movies are so dope to me,
Yeah.
because that person, that hair and makeup trailer, they went back into their bag and really showed their ass on the education of how to do certain things that ain't really getting talked about or taught anymore. And so when I see that, I think that's the biggest step first, is understanding fully, like, if you're committing to this, don't commit to the fame, don't commit to the money, commit to the passion. When you
Yeah.
commit to the passion, everything else fall in line. And so I think that's where it starts and stops first. How comfortable would you be if you had to go sit in your dentist's office and he didn't have a license? How comfortable would you be if that person didn't take the proper steps? Our license doesn't say that we are licensed to be creative. Our license is basically saying we're licensed to actually protect the client if something happens, meaning that's why sanitation is so high on our state board. So I think that has to be really looked at and really, have that conversation. And that's why I feel like it's so important for me, being a voice of our industry and being a leader in our industry, to go speak at Capitol Hill Day to show that, yo, this is not a good thing. And I get some people like, oh yeah, praise, like we ain't got to go to school, but man,
How could you truthfully educate, and especially black hair? There's so many different coils and texture. How could you really know what to do with hair? Client should not have to educate you on the information of what proper hair care before you do a protective style or some type of creative style like a braid or something. And that's what we're going to lose. There are going to be a lot of people with alopecia, baldness, thinning, the broken follicles. You cannot wear those styles and thinking that your edges is gonna stay in
them
place.
edges flapping.
Explain to me what triggers passion. I know it starts from curiosity, you know what I'm saying? But how do you know that you're passionate about something?
So I can only speak for myself, because I don't know how other people define where their passion come from, but it started with me. I've been around here my whole life. I ran from it my whole life. And once I got going in it, the creative side kicked in. But the fact that I could sit back and make somebody feel good and look good, their confidence went out the roof. I'm passionate about people. And I think that's where it starts. Your passion have to be about people in the beauty profession. And then that creates the passion of wanting to explore and to learning how to do more, wanting to figure out, like, okay, if I'm looking at something as a barber and I'm like, yo, that edge up ain't quite right, what can I do? And so for me, my passion came from people, but then I started looking at being on set, right? And I'll go to a makeup artist where, everybody before fibers and all of that have been a thing now, like the man unit and hair fibers and all of that. It was for me, I was going on set and I'm like, listen, I don't want to do that to my work, because I'm crafty with my hands. I want to be able to give this man the best version of himself with what he really is and his reality. But I will go to the makeup artist and sit with the makeup artist and say, hey, Cole, can you put a little eyebrow pencil right in this corner where he a little low density at? It's not interfering with my work, but you see it, I see it. So if we see it, the camera see it. So let's be passionate about our work, because once you're passionate about the people, you get passionate about the work, the creativity gonna always come, because you're always trying to get it. And so for me, that's how it was. I just fell in love with, satisfying my clients, being personable with them. The human aspect of what we do, I think, has been eliminated from our industry and our culture. And it's become more of a sideshow of like, yo, look at me, look at me, look at me, instead of look at what I created for this person to feel the way they feel.
My passion, I never went to makeup school, never wanted to do makeup, anything. My passion came from skincare.
Skincare patch was crazy.
Skincare always came first for me. So being a licensed professional and an educator, I was like, that was my driving force with makeup. And makeup was a tool that I was able to be naturally creative with to bring in the skincare element. Working with Usher and other male artists and entertainers, how can I eliminate doing so much makeup, but he still get a good coverage where he don't look made up and he can walk outside where nobody knows he has on makeup? You know, when you knew if I did Usher's makeup, you knew that I didn't do Usher's makeup. The people that see me work and saw my work knew that. You know, the public eye and the audience don't know. You know what I'm saying? They're watching TV. They don't know. The fact that you are passionate about people first, that's why you could sit in front of a room with thousands of people and hundreds of people and passionately speak to them. You want to decrease aging? This is what you need to do. And that's what my passion was with skincare. It was how the body operates, you know, inside out. When I go get facials from other people, how long have you been doing that skincare? Oh, I just graduated last year. You can't touch my skin. I'm sorry. You don't have enough skin experience. You know what I'm saying?
Like if you working on my face, don't put too much pressure on my skin. I'm black. I'll bruise
Exactly.
and it's gonna sit there for a while. So I need you to be real delicate with my face because baby, I take care of my skin.
You know, to be able to get that knowledge. But I feel like just because you got the knowledge, there's still some practicing there. That's the thing too, where I feel like that needs to come together in some way.
It's funny that we talking about this in general, just black men skin and skin regimen and all of that. And I'm actually filming content right now to talk about my skincare regimen because I don't get crazy ingrowns. I know how to exfoliate. I know what type of exfoliant to use. You don't see many companies speaking up to the African American male, or you don't see African American men even getting the knowledge on how to take care of their skin. And I feel like as a barber, I work with facial hair, I work with beards, I work with mustache. I see a lot of barbers that do facials, but it's like, do you really understand? Or are you just putting a mask?
If you've been around the whole entirety of beauty, skincare, facials, cosmetology, all that, so you have a different level of knowledge when it comes to that in education. Most barbers have it. Most barbers start in a kitchen or their basement, and then they go get a license afterwards when they're forced to get a license or the training. Being able to prevent premature aging, there's so many different things you'd have to do on a cellular level. And it has something to do with your cleansing, your diet, the type of water, the consistency of sleep, the de-stressing, the wellness program that you're on. So there's a whole lot of things in its entirety that I normally offer to my clients or with a platform or education wise when it comes to how do we turn back the hands of time? How do we maintain healthy skin where we can, still feel good about ourselves and look good about ourselves? And they're not a whole lot of things or educating Black men on that. And that's where I come in at. Like, even on my website, I'm like, book a consultation. It ain't even about products. Cold Skincare for Men is a knowledge-based brand. You have an expert over 20 years that's been doing this, and that's what I want to lend to the Black barbers. Steps that you do with your skincare in your barber. And I always tell my customers or my clients, like, what can I do about this? Well, ask your barber these questions and see if they're able to do this. And normally, some barbers are not open to listening to that aspect, but okay, come back to me. I'll tell you about the skincare stuff. This is what I need you to do before you go get shaved from your barber. Is he using a dry shave, an electric shave, or a straight razor? What is he using? So there's things where men were like, well, I don't have bad skin. Nobody said you had bad skin, but there is a skincare regimen you should create that's preventative and gives you the things that you need. That's just like saying, I don't take a bath because I don't stink. Stink. Even though you don't stink on some days, you still want to wash your ass. So it's the same thing with skin, because skin is a part of your body. And you can't always use facial soap, the Dove or the Dow or the Zest on your face, or you can't always use black soap on your face. Black men, that don't mean that it's good
You
just
know,
because it's
it's
black.
so true that, like, I tell everybody, why are you using this Gillette 5-bladed razor? I'm like, okay, so one razor take the hair off. What are the other four taking off? Like, really just think logically. What is the other four taking off? Oh, well, it has an aloe vera strip. Man, do you think that's enough aloe vera for your face?
To the audience, to customers, clients, know your barber, know your skincare person, know your hairstylist, what type of education they have, what type of care and concern they have about your hair or who you are as a person. Make sure it's not only transactional, that you're actually leaving your service with some knowledge that you need to sustain, maintain, and manage any aspect of what you got going on. That's the deal. You know what I mean? And
100%, 100%. That's it.